welcome to Scott's Inverts. I'm Scott, these are the inverts. Today we are rehousing our xenesthis species Bright, an absolutely stunningly beautiful spider, and to find out why we've had to get another one, stick around to the very end of this video. So this is our 12 by 12 by 12 mesh top, front opening lid. That substrate is a mix of soils with perlite. I'm testing it out at the moment, so I'll give you some details on that in another video. Little piece of cork bark there, just push it into the substrate to mark the substrate, and then where the little grooves are, go in with our fingers to make them a little bit deeper, and then we can place our cork bark on, and it fits really flush with the soil there. So what we then need to do is just go in and create a little burrow. By creating a burrow, it just saves our spider a little bit of work, and hopefully she'll feel at home a little bit quicker. Now that substrate is nice and moist, but don't worry, we are adding a little bit moisture a bit further on. But we get some moss. Now this moss is just the dried stuff that we got up in Scotland well before Christmas, and I've kept nice and dry. So I'm going to put that around the back end of that cork bark just to block it off, so she's got one way in, one way out with no light when she goes in there. Now this moss, we found this, is a bit of a different species of moss to what I normally use, but it just looks absolutely beautiful. It's quite young, quite new growing, so hopefully it will grow and spread across the enclosure pretty well. But it is absolutely beautiful. So we fill that right hand corner in with a load of moss. I want to bring it down that side as well, not too far, because I want that water dish to go to this bottom right hand corner. Put some more just to the left, again to hold that humidity in that hide. A little bit on the top, try and hide the cork bark a little bit, make it kind of blend into our enclosure a bit more. What we want to be doing is trying to cover a lot of the ground with this beautiful moss. I am an absolute moss addict. I absolutely love it. Keep taking loads of like little macro shots of moss when I'm out and about and all sorts. I think it's just that colour green, you know, really makes an enclosure pop. And again, that different species of moss just makes a completely different feel to this enclosure than what it did to the previous one when we used that normal kind of carpet type moss. But this stuff's really nice. It's really damp as well, really damp stuff. So maybe I won't have to spray this enclosure as often. We'll see, we shall see. Anyway, get some more moss into the back of there. Try and make it kind of a natural feel, as natural as how you perceive it to be, if you like, just so our spider feels at home. Pressing the water dish right in there, so it's again create a mark in that soil that we can dig out and then push that water dish in even further. Then we go on to top that water dish up with water. Just take that little bit of moss out of the dish that just fell in. And there we go, nicely topped up. Shut the door to make sure we're not catching that water dish, and we're all good to go. Spraying that moss down just to give it a little bit of a head start in the enclosure. The soil and the moss is already damp enough. This is just more precautionary, and just to help that moss kind of establish itself in our enclosure. And here she is, or he is. This is xenesthis species Bright, absolutely gorgeous spider. And what we're going to try and do now is try and get her out, but bum in the air. That is her defensive posture, ready to flick hairs. So what I'm doing with the paintbrush now is the hairs on the back of the legs, just brushing them upwards so she feels a little bit of discomfort. You don't want to be pushing the actual spider too much at all. Just make those hairs feel a little bit funny, so she gets a little tiny bit of discomfort, and she'll come straight out like that. And there she is, absolutely beautiful.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. caught up in a daydream. I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
So that was the xenesthis species, bright rehousing. You got this far, you're not subscribed, remember to hit that subscription button and drop this video a like if you like what we're doing at Scott's Inverts. Anyway, the reason why we had to get a second one was because the first one unfortunately passed away. Now this is down to my own fault because I did the feeding and I took her from a low shelf, fed her and put her up on a high shelf with all the hot weather that we've had recently and all the rest of it. So the temperatures are up there, we're going to be 30 plus. And unfortunately, I do believe that this is the reason why she actually passed away. So I'm going to learn from this experience, go forward, and hopefully it will make me a better keeper as we go into the future. Now, how we actually bought this is absolutely phenomenal story. So Luke and his dad came to a scout meeting with myself, and we took lots of different inverts, and we did a good talk and all the rest of it. But on the lead up to that, what happened was Mark Spider Guy had given me a mature male Simopathes Emernia, so I hooked it up with our female, gave Mark it back and thought, wicked, we'll have an egg sac and happy days, we'll have some Emernia slings. That wasn't to be. She actually molted out, so I was like, oh my god, now what do I do? So Spider Dan said, look, I've got this really old mature male Simopathes Emernia, check it out, see what happens, you know, and all the rest of it. So we did. They linked up. She had an egg sac, like brown dust in the bottom. I was like, oh my word. Thought nothing of it. I was like, wow, you know, this isn't going to be happening this year. Anyway, she ended up molting out again. So I had a mature male that actually matured here. So I put that in with her. They literally went like this for a split second and she munched him, and I was like, oh no way. I had it in the back of my mind. I was thinking, okay, so this spider, as far as the slings go, is not happening. But I looked at the enclosure on the day that Spar Spiders was coming here to pick me up to go to the scout hut to go and show all the animals. In fact, some of those guys from there might be watching tonight, so hi guys. First and Ian Scout Group, way. So I looked in the enclosure and there was a couple of slings about. So I was like, right, okay, said to Tara, you know, come and give me a hand. So we got around 50 or 60 of these slings out, all looking absolutely stunning. Again, a credit to the female Emernia that we've got here. The mum did an absolutely fantastic job. So I kind of said to Luke, I said, look, you know, we've just pulled all these slings out. Do you want them? And he said, yeah, what do you want for them? And I said, look, you know, you not only sponsor my giveaways, do 15% discount to channel members, you also sponsor a lot of my friends' competitions, and you do a lot for the community like that. You'll come on the live and do 15% discount on the site and all that type of good stuff. Plus, he's always on hand if we've got questions that I can't answer on a Tuesday live. I'll just phone him and he'll literally be on speakerphone on the live giving us the answers and all the rest of it. So I said, look, dude, you know, for everything you do, just take them. And he wouldn't have it. He knew the species bright that I had passed away, and he also knew that I was gutted because essentially it was my fault. He seems to he's like on the fence with it, but I'm blaming myself for it, and that's it. And he actually brought with him as an xenesthis species bright as a swap. So thank you so much, Luke. Really appreciate that. But we had an awesome night at the scout hut, showing all the scouts, the inverts that we've got. Luke was absolutely in his element, talking about the spiders and all the rest of it. If you ever get a chance, because you don't actually need a license to display and to do a show, to do a public performance, if you like, with inverts. You do if they've got a backbone or if they're a reptile, like Unusual Pets does. Unusual Pets is another fantastic channel. Please go check her out. But yeah, you don't actually need a license. So we rocked up, and all these scouts, man, their faces were lighting up, holding slugs, snails, and hissing cockroaches, and having their mind blown by Luke's massive female Goliath bird eating spider that he had there as well. It's just a really, really good night. So we've had the Salvapaeus and Murnier slings. They're all now on Luke's website. Well, will be soon if he's not done it already. They will be going on Luke's website. So if you want a spider that's been bred here by Scott's Inverts, head over to Spar Spiders. I think he's going to put a little statement on the actual Salvapaeus and Murnier so you guys know it's the ones that bred here. We've also been breeding some roaches, so we've got quite a lot of the ghost porcelain roaches. We've got a ton of those good breeding at the moment. Our snails have laid eggs, and we've got a ton of eggs. And well, I say a ton of eggs. A lot of them now broke out into tiny little little snails. So I'm going to try and convince Luke eventually to put some of those on his site. Maybe, hopefully he's watching and he agrees. I don't know. But we're going to try and do that. We'll do something along those lines anyway. When they're a bit big, I mean, these guys are like a pinhead. Anyway, I've spoke for far too long. Remember, tomorrow night, the live is over on Chris is Zoo on Wheels channel. His link is down in the description. That's because this Friday, we're having Dave's Little Beasties back on. Dave's got a load of announcements. He's been going and doing some epic stuff recently, and he's got some amazing ideas. So he's going to come on, we're going to have a massive catch up, a good old chat. If you've got any questions for Dave, get them ready for that night, and we shall put them to him. Anyway, oh my God, my beard, look at the state of that. It needs a trim, doesn't it? It does need a trim. That's happening this week, I think. Fed up now. Gonna have about 2-3 inches off it. I'm gonna go like bump, I think. We shall see. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, we shall see you again on the next one.